Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Green Gaming Fest of 2022, benefiting Mother of Corals. Thank you so much to our previous runner for running Resident Evil 2, and I would like to introduce our next runner, which will be BombHappy, who will be running Kirby and the Forgotten Land any percent. Take it away.
All right. I am BombHappy, and we are going to be doing that Kirby and Forgotten Land any percent run. Just to begin it off, there's going to be two difficulty modes for Kirby. There's going to be the Wild modes and Spring Breeze mode. And so, just to give a heads up, the difference between these two modes is Spring Breeze mode is technically the easier mode, but as we go through the run, we should be able to start, and I'll go ahead and explain it right off. Okay, and we will start the countdown, and 3, 2, 1, go. And so the reason why I chose Spring Breeze mode is that at the end of each level in this game, there is actually a minor bonus that you get from Wild mode that actually loses you about maybe 3 or 4 seconds, just because they're like, yay, you have 50 coins now. We don't want that anymore. So we're just gonna start it off. Kirby just instantly got sucked into a new world that is not Dreamland, and so we're just trying to figure out what's going on. We woke up on a beach, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, do you have time for a donation?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. I forgot to read this at the start, but we have a $20 donation from Rep G Suspenser, who says, "Let this go towards Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. Also, I have a joke for you guys. What did the plate say to the other plate? Dinner is on me." And then, ha 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 ha. I don't feel like saying every ha there. Let's finish this marathon strong, and thanks again for having me. Thank you so much for the $20 donation.
I do like some ha-has in my life. Okay. And as you can see right now, I'm doing this main form of movement that I have, which is going to be slide hopping. So basically, Kirby is fastest movement is going to be doing that slide hopping without any abilities. We'll get an ability eventually, but as we see right now, we have a little bit of the Kirby here. This is going to be the main gimmick of the game, and as you can see from his little nubs, I love seeing them every single time. This is going to be one of my favorite mouthful modes to deal with, just because the movement that they decided to put onto this game just feels absolutely amazing. So anytime there's a Kirby section, I'm going to have a grand old time with it. And there you go. That's going to be the first cutscene. And so just to give a little bit more of a rundown on the Spring Breeze mode and Wild mode as well, the difference between them, aside from the extra coins I mentioned, Wild mode also reduces Kirby's HP in half, and also has a smaller auto lock with the sliding, which can be a little bit annoying when we play in Spring Breeze mode, just because we end up auto locking on a lot of enemies if you have already seen that already. And so we can work around that, despite the fact that it's supposed to make it easier for you to hit enemies. We don't want to hit enemies, but otherwise it won't affect too much of the run, because we'll be using abilities that don't have any auto lock features. And look at that, we have our first friend of the game, and also our second friend, Waddle Dee and Elfilin. So Waddle Dee, 2-player mode feature. We won't be seeing him for a while anymore, but at least for Elfilin, we get to keep him with us for the rest of the run and try and see what's going on in this new world. Okay. And this will be 1-1. And this is actually going to be a good spot to talk about that auto-locking. And basically what is happening is, if I were to slide dash right there, you can see how I can auto lock. In Wild mode, it's actually extremely shorter in comparison. But other than that, we won't see much of it as we keep going through this run. And once we get into 1-2, we'll actually get to appreciate the beauty of a really fast ability. But in the meantime, we're just gonna have to deal with slide hopping for the rest of this run, rest of this stage, until we get to the next level. And right there, we can see some of Woofie's right there. So usually, if you are a Kirby fan, you definitely see Waddle Dees all the time. But this is basically going to be the new Waddle Dees of this world. Love to see them. They also take naps every now and then. You can bully them if you'd like, but I don't like bullying them because they're very cute.
All right, and do you have time for a donation?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, and we have a $30 donation from Fury ST or Furious, however you pronounce it, and they say, "Let's go Fox versus Puppy." I'm guessing that's for one of the incentives coming up, or one of the, probably not, probably so, but I mean, thank you so much for the donation. Everything helps.
Yeah, I think that's the Pokemon donation, I think, right there. For
It might
Arcanine
be.
and Ninetales.
Yeah, it might be. Thank you so much for the donation.
And we are actually going to come into our first skip of the game right here. So, right here, we're going to be picking up Cone B, our second mouthful mode. And typically in this section right here, we have to deal with the Tordilding by going around. But if I can get this skip, we should be able to not have to worry about that at all. And it looks like I did. And that's what we call the turtle skip right there. That is one of the first skips that we do in the game. And I think they actually was discovered back in the demo of the game. So not even when the game got released. So the demo, people were able to just figure out that you can skip the Tordilding by doing that trick alone. And as a heads up, that is actually a frame perfect trick right there. And usually it's a little bit harder, but with a lot of practice and timing, it's actually not too bad, especially considering the fact that this game is on 30 FPS. So there's a lot more leniency with frame perfect tricks. Okay, and that is going to be 1-2 right here. And so, as you can see, there's a little bit of a hothead. We are going to love this ability. This is one of the fastest abilities in the game. And so we're going to be using it for a pretty good majority of the run here. Okay, and right here, as you can see, this move is actually very fast in comparison to just the regular slide hopping. Let me see here. Okay, there you go. And there's actually going to be a few more abilities that we will be grabbing along the way for specific reasons. I'll go ahead and explain that. So whenever you grab certain abilities in this game, it actually gets set into what I like to call like I guess a pool or in a backpack of abilities. And so that will set us up later for one of our later tricks along the way that will set up properly to make one of the mixes easier. And so basically a mix, if you are familiar with Kirby games, is whenever you grab two of the same ability, Kirby gets sent into a mix roulette where they basically have a randomization of abilities. But fortunately in this game, if you have a certain amount of abilities in your backpack, you actually are able to manipulate the order of which the abilities come out, which is very helpful when you're trying to do one of the faster mixes. All right, and that was a pretty nice level right there. Okay. All right. And so here we come into 1-3. This is going to be one of our first, or actually technically our second cycle-based room. And one of the tragedies of fire in this is the hitbox of fire in combination with the hitbox of the boulders that you see right here are actually very massive. So you have to be aware of that positioning just to make sure that you don't get hit. So hopefully if I manage to get the proper cycle, it shouldn't be too bad, but we'll see. Okay, looks pretty good so far. Ah, there you go. That was the little bonk that I was talking about. If you go not in the right positioning right there, you do bonk into an enemy or into a boulder, which is not what I wanted, but not too bad of a time loss, honestly. Okay, and there we go. We have to get chased down by this boulder here. Fortunately, fire is just way too fast for this boulder. We don't even think about this boulder. And we'll get to my favorite ability real soon. Mouthful mode. Kirby. And so, I haven't described this just yet, but in every single level, there is objectives and Waddle Dees that you need to save within the run. And that is going to be the limiting factor on how to beat this game fast, because at every end of the world, there is going to be a boss that gets unlocked, and we need a minimum amount of Waddle Dees in order to unlock that stage, and it just increases as we go. So, as you can see right there, at the end, we managed to get 3 Waddle Dees, and I also got an objective Waddle Dee for not falling down as Kirby. And so that was just basically a very free Waddle Dee to grab, not difficult to deal with at all. But as we keep going farther into the levels, we'll see more Waddle Dees that may seem slow, but we have to do it, otherwise we cannot unlock the boss. Right. And we are in a Live Mall, one of a pretty good song in my opinion. And since we are actually going to grab an invincible candy here, the song is actually going to loop a full time, so we're actually able to appreciate the full song every single time. Okay, so that's our invincible candy. Aside from being invincible, the ability actually allows you to be very fast. And so originally you probably have been seeing me do a slide and 2 fire dashes, but the slide actually gets enhanced by the speed, but not the fire. So we're actually just going to do single slides and a single fire dashes here. And that's just a faster form of movement. And hopefully, if we manage to do this fast enough, we should go hit the Wild Frosty that's coming up right here. Or no Wild Frosty. Very fast fight. Love to be able to see that fight just go down really fast. That alone already saves like 30 seconds in comparison to fighting that boss regularly. Ah, yes, Coconut Mall. Yeah, so this game, everyone keeps saying it's Coconut Mall. I mean, it really does have Coconut Mall vibes, but there's no cars, so we don't have to worry about it. Okay, and this is going to be the next mouthful mode right here coming up. Okay, and this is just a locker, very easy to do. So it asks you to tip over by just pressing down over and over again, but I personally find it a lot easier to just circle the stick as much as possible. All right, there you go. And so with that, we should be entering into the boss level. it should be the perfect 17 Waddle Dees. And also the Waddle Dees that we grabbed were just on the way, very easy to do. But once we get into World 2, there's going to be a little bit more off-path ones that we'll be grabbing. Alright, and so with this boss, there's actually two strats that you can go for here. The first strat that we usually do is the ice strat. This is the safer strat, but there's also a copyless, mostly copyless strat that is extremely difficult to pull off just because you have to deal with Gorimondu's RNG, which we don't really want to deal with. And basically what happens is you can either do the safe ice strat, which is pretty fast still, or you can do the copyless strat, which can either save you 20 seconds or make you lose like 30 seconds. It's like not worth it if you don't get the right RNG. But since we are using ice, I can go ahead and explain how that works. So with Kirby, we're able to do I want to say an unintended way to use ice. You can actually freeze twice the speed that was intended for everyone. And so right here, I am breaking my shield by holding forward just a little bit and doing a tap for the ice breath attack. And basically that just does two individual attacks each time with the ice. And that allows us to do tons of damage and slow down the cycle of Gorimondu, so we don't have to actually see anything that he does. Okay. And that should be an easy fight right there. Yep. So really easy fight, very consistent. The second phase of Gorimondu is a pain just because he does a spin attack that is basically uninteractable, and you lose a lot of time just watching him spin. So we don't want to do that. We avoid that just by freezing him with ice. All right, and there you go, not bad. And so after each world, we are going to go back to the town that we saved Elflin in, that destruction wasteland right there. But we'll go back and grab an ability if we need to. Otherwise, we'll just be going back just to see the progress of Waddle Dee Town. And as you collect more Waddle Dees throughout the run, you will start to see more and more Waddle Dees. You'll start seeing more of the buildings getting built as we progress through the game. But the first one we'll be seeing is the weapon shop, which is gonna be a forced one we have to walk into. We can't go immediately into World 2. Just because the game is going through the tutorial teaching you how to upgrade your abilities. And honestly, it's actually for the better just because the upgrade in this section is going to help us beat some of the bosses in the fights. And if there is any donations or shoutouts, feel free to do it. There's going to be a pretty good amount of downtime here.
All right, thank you so much. We currently do not have any more donations, but if you want to donate for the Sobble vs. Sobble or Arcanine vs. Ninetales, the incentive currently for Pokemon Shield, any amount helps to get what you want, and like any amount towards this amazing cause benefiting Mother of Corals would be amazing.
All right. And right here, we have upgraded our fire to Volcano Fire. Kirby is just so strong that they can just handle Volcano on top of their head. But this ability will be significantly stronger than regular fire, as well as just being barely faster than regular fire as well. All right, and into 2-1. So we're actually going to be doing our second skip now. And this skip is a little bit more on the glitchier side. We're going to be doing some minor out-of-bounds shenanigans here. Not just yet. We'll be getting into it once we grab the warp star. But basically how the skip works is you're intended to fight a bonkers on an arena, but fortunately with some out of bounds shenanigans, you can actually just skip the fight entirely, which I think saves about 30 or 45 seconds. Okay, and so hopefully if I have that set up properly, I did not get it right. Okay, maybe this time? Yep, there you go. And so hopefully, if I did that right, which I should, there you go. This arena, we are able to just skip it just barely by going outside of it. And we get to just get into the next area. And another description for the volcano fire, it's actually really cool in the water. If there's any currents that you can interact with, if you press A and B at the same exact time, you actually do a grounded fire dash. And if you do that in conjunction with the whirlpools, you actually get a speed boost, which is really cool.
Do you have time for a donation?
After this waddle, do you?
All right.
Let's see. Okay, you can go for it.
All right, so we have a $5 donation from Drywall, who says that cool marathon, good luck to the gamers. Thank you so much for donating. I'm glad you like the marathon, and yeah, just thank you so much for donating to this amazing cause.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. And so we are actually getting closer to the end of not seeing volcano fire for a while. There's actually a decent amount of routes in this game that we can do. So there is the fire route, and basically you just bring fire through most of the areas that are in... How do I say this? Most of the time when you use fire, it's actually a beginner route friendly one, just because the other ability that we use is going to be Tornado. Tornado is not the easiest ability to use, just because if you do mess up one time, it's basically over, and you don't want that to happen. And if you see right there, we just greeted some firebirds with some nice volcano fire. I'm pretty sure they appreciate it. There you go. And so going back to the routes, basically with Volcano Fire and Tornado, universally, if you go into World 4, most people will say just go for Tornado. It's like the best ability. But overall, when it comes to like Volcano Fire versus Tornado, some people opt to do it in certain levels as well. And right here, I'm actually going to go ahead and say goodbye to Volcano Fire with Drill. And the reason why I do that is a preference of routing to grab that maximum tomato. There's actually another ability that you can, another Waddle Dee objective that you can grab with Volcano Fire, but this is just my personal preference. All right.
Yeah, you can do a white blue, but like, yeah, I say you do it too.
Okay, and so this is the area where we're actually going to be grabbing Tornado. So with Tornado, as I said before, it is a difficult ability to use, if not used properly, just because once you bounce, once you turn the wrong way, it's very hard to steer and control it. But otherwise, you will be seeing Tornado for most of this run. Okay. And right here, we're going to be coming up to our first Tornado boss of the Kirby series, which is really cool, Lorena. Oh, that is the wrong pattern for me, but that's fine. We'll just have to make do with what I got. I'm probably gonna take damage here, but that's fine. Yeah, not a bad fight still. Okay, and so now we have Tornado. Very difficult ability to manage. Another thing that is very difficult to do with Tornado is the fact that when you cancel the ability early, there's actually a pretty good amount of stall time with it. So we actually want to avoid that as much as possible. And so there'll be times where you'll be seeing me do some minor setups with my movement before I use Tornado, just because we want to do its full cycle of movement before using it. Otherwise, we end up just messing up how Tornado works, or just have minor lag time in between if used improperly. So it's a very efficient ability if you have all the setups proper. Most of the time, it's not too bad. There's not that many setups, but there's a lot of optimizations with Tornado when you first start off with it. Okay, and so this is just the Archmouth section, basically an auto-scroller, but otherwise, it's actually a very relaxing part. Sometimes it feels bad to mess up these sections just because there are checkpoints, and if you do mess up the checkpoints, you just have to reset. And despite the fact that it is an auto-scroller, there is some minor optimizations you can do to speed up Kirby. So right here, if you actually go down and do a spin attack right here, it'll do a minor boost forward. Don't know how much time that actually saves, but we can obviously tell that it has a increase in speed. All right, there you go. And I guess just to go off, with this game, there's a decent amount of lore. Most of the time, you don't really pay attention to it unless you actually read the titles or the texts behind the trophies that you can grab. But in this world, we are kind of confused on what's going on. But if, in general, you have noticed that some of the enemies are more on the animalistic side. So if you look at that Tornado boss I went against, that her name was Florina. She was basically like a swan or a bird, maybe even a goose. I'm not too sure actually. But she is actually part of the Beast Pack, which is going to be the main enemies of this game. So if we saw Gorimandu on the World 1 boss, that he's also part of the Beast Pack as well. And here we go. We're going to try and do a waterless fight. Basically, I want to do this whole entire fight without touching the water, which is very difficult to do on your first try with Tornado, but hopefully I can get it. Looks pretty good so far. Okay, there you go. Not bad. Pretty good. Yeah, it was actually a really good Tornado fight. Alright, and right here, this is basically like good optimizations for Tornado. I had to cancel a little bit early, but it's not a big deal. Okay, there you go. Okay, and I'm actually gonna grab this tuna can of tuna right here. This will save me just a little bit of time, not too much, but as we've seen at the end of levels, they show objective Waddle Dees. And if you end up managing to show every single objective on the end screen, it actually saves you just a little bit of time if you are able to get it on the way. So in this case, we'll see the full screen of objectives show up. And so what happens is that if you end up missing an objective somehow, the developers realize that some people can't find things, and they will actually pop up the missing one, and that actually loses you time if you can actually get the objectives on the way. So very small optimization throughout the course of this run that we can do to help us. All right, and as you can see from that picture, probably a very obvious mainline boss that we have seen so many times in the Kirby games. It's probably not a surprise. The only surprise is probably his name. Okay. Alright, and so this is going to be Tropic Woods. We're going to be going for the copyless fight here. Hopefully I am able to pull that off. Okay, looks good so far for the first phase. And then the hard part is going to be doing the second phase here. Oh. Oh, that is very bad. I just lost Tornado. That's very unfortunate, but that's okay. I think we should be fine. Oh, yeah, that's very, 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 very tragic. Okay. Still not a bad fight. What sucks is that since I lost Tornado, I wanted to immediately go into World 3 with Tornado, but unfortunately, since I did just lose Tornado, I have to go back to town to grab it again, which is going to be a pretty decent time loss. And going back to the route changes that I talked about before, so there was Volcano Fire versus Tornado. So for anyone who's very comfortable, who wants to start off doing this run, Volcano Fire is by far the easiest ability to use. And so in this fight alone, you can actually just play Volcano Fire against this boss, and you actually don't lose too much time in an isolated environment of Tornado fight versus Fire fight. It's just a matter of preference on how you want to do World 3, which in my opinion, Tornado is the best one. So I'd go and opt for the hard fight, but otherwise, if you're starting off, like Volcano Fire is like very easy to do Tropic Woods. Okay, and so we'll have to go into the Walk of Shame into the Armory Shop once more so that I can grab Tornado. Okay. And that is going to be... Ooh, excuse me. That's going to be a Tornado for World 3, and I want to say that World 3 is also a pretty Tornado-friendly level, so even if you are a Volcano Fire player, I'd still recommend just going back to the shop to grab Tornado, just because I think Tornado is just significantly easier to use in World 3.
What in the fuck?
And so right here, we will grab this ability, or sorry, go through with Tornado, and it's actually kind of awkward to do this area just because you have to cancel your Tornado a few times. It's actually very tragic to deal with, but otherwise not too bad. And we'll grab onto this ladder and get to basically a very great reason why I think Tornado is honestly an amazing ability. So this, and just like that, very easy to pull off. And I'm just gonna jump right here. And right there, look, you just skip all of the spinning platforms, and it's basically the same speed as doing it with Volcano Fire. And then right here, another great example of Tornado making this very easy we can just skip an attendant puzzle. So the attendant puzzle is to grab Mouthful Mode Balloon Kirby, which is honestly one of my favorite abilities, but we end up skipping just the first two of these. That would raise the platforms, but with some object shenanigans that we can jump on top to, we can actually just skip it entirely. And here's my favorite ability. Mouthful Mode, look at it, Kirby. Big Kirby. And so, goodbye, Big Kirby. And we are going to get into one of my favorite sections, 3-2, which is going to be the Kirby heavy level. There's just a lot of things you can do in this section. Love to use it a lot, just because there's a timer, so it can actually show you how fast you're going without having any splits. Okay. And for some reason in this level, there's a mini boss, Wild Edge, that I go against. I actually have plenty of trouble dealing with this boss. Hopefully it goes well, but either way, I'm just gonna go ahead and bully some of these wolfies. And we are going to open this car, inhale the car, and look at this. We got a timer letting us know how fast we're going. Usually it's about, I want to say 16 to 18 seconds. So if you all want to guess what that number is going to be, go for it. Okay, 16. Wow, 16.8. That's actually one of my fastest ones. I don't even think I've ever hit a 16.8. Usually, most of the time I hit like 16.9 a lot of the times, but that's actually really good. I like that. Okay, cute little bounce right there. And right here, that's just a great optimization of making sure that you're utilizing the full range of Tornado's movement right there. And so going against Wild Edge, hopefully I can pull off the fast fight here. Oh, no! I wasn't able to grab the star there. That's very tragic. That's okay. Okay. Still not a bad fight, but obviously not what I personally want. But either way, getting into the next Kirby section. So with this, you have to go through the shortcuts, which in a speedrunning setting, of course we want shortcuts, right? And so cardboard shortcuts, we want to go through both of them just so we can get through the level faster, as well as just getting a free Waddle as well. And I guess that's the reason why I also love this level, just because it rewards you just for being fast. And just a minor optimization right here. So if you ever go down a hill, ooh, okay, well I messed that up. If you ever go down a hill and you start jumping, you actually are able to maintain the speed of going downhill. And so ideally you would be jumping and not bonking into anything, which gives you enough speed boost to get about a like 36-second one. So it's like a 2-second save, just for being able to go for that downhill speed strat. All right, and so watch out for the faint of heart. We are going into the scariest level of the game, so keep your eyes closed if you don't want to see the spoopy aliens. Otherwise, this is actually one of my fun levels to do it with Tornado, and honestly a great instance of me preferring Tornado over Fire as well. Watch out. Oh, it's a spoopy alien. Be careful. Another spoopy alien. And another one. Okay. Alright, not bad. Yeah, we were able to skip through all the aliens right there, which is actually really good. We are now going to get into Lightbulb Kirby, which is intended to be a dark section where you're supposed to walk around with Lightbulb Kirby, but fortunately, you can just skip most of it with Tornado, and you can still see the map, honestly. But there are some areas where it's actually very dark and hard to go through, but as you can see, it looks like I'm going left and right to move around this level. Unfortunately, there's actually invisible walls that doesn't allow you to go for the direct path to the exit. And so it's not that big of a deal, but we just have to go through it like that. Okay. And another instance of a minor optimization, jumping on top of that little object, just so we can maintain that height with Tornado and manage to just grab onto the next level. Just because if we were to not do that, we would have to jump or cancel Tornado early, which is never what we want. And right there, we're actually able to skip those aliens. So those aliens actually just block you off completely the whole entire time. You don't want that, but because of height, it actually doesn't trigger the aliens until it's too late, which allows us to just skip getting Soda Can Machine Kirby, which unfortunately we will not see in this run. We'll see instances of it being in front of our face, but we'll never activate the mouthful mode itself. Okay, there we go. Alright, nice. That was a pretty good level right there. And honestly, Wandaria, one of my favorite levels, worlds to go through, just because this area itself just has a lot of great Tornado movements to practice. So if you ever want to get into Tornado, like, World 3 is a great way to just experience how great it is. World 4 as well. And another cool feature is Wandaria has always been in the daytime, but we actually switch over to nighttime for the last level. Okay, and there you go. And if we have any Nier Automata fans, this actually gave me some reminiscence of it. There was definitely no reference to it, but it just gave me similar vibes. So we're gonna open up this gate real quick, and we'll see kind of that feeling of Wandaria. Gotta see the Ferris wheel in the background. Honestly, I probably just think it's the same thing just because it's a circus area. And unfortunately did not hit that cycle, which is very tragic. And I lost my Tornado ability for that, but not a big deal. It's actually a very tight cycle to get, so it's not surprising for me to miss that from time to time. Okay. And another great instance of using Tornado. By this point, even if you are a fire user, definitely recommend grabbing Tornado here. Just and Tornado has a good instance where it doesn't trigger it until the second Tornado, but there is a cool little mechanic where if you end up using Tornado on the ground first, and then if you go in the air, you can actually just be totally fine with Kirby. Sorry. You can. It's totally fine to use tornado in the air, just because if you do tornado in the air twice, you actually lose so much speed and you get punished for using it. Oh, we're back. We're back. Hi, I'm here. Hello. Okay, cool beans. So Cloverline, this is a decently RNG fight. With proper positioning, you can RNG manipulate how the boss attacks you, but sometimes it's difficult due to the nature of how Cloverline attacks you. The camera angle can change. She can easily move in different ways if you're not properly positioned. But otherwise, shouldn't be too bad of a fight. We might just have a very sad phase 1. Okay, and so into the next boss fight. So hopefully this works out pretty well. Okay, so I think that is the RNG I wanted. So hopefully I can activate phase 2 here. It looks like I can't. That's very tragic. Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay, so phase 2, this is going to be a pretty easy one. So have some RNG if she wants to jump a second time, which she did. Very unfortunate, but that is fine. Okay, and that's a very easy phase 2 right there. And back in World 1, I actually changed my settings from auto swallow off to on, and so basically what happens is that if you have auto swallow on, basically any ability or enemy that you inhale will immediately become the ability hat, which sometimes we don't want to do. So in this instance, Cloverline was throwing these daggers, so if you had auto swallow on, you would actually inhale and become Sword Kirby immediately, which does not help in the case that I want to just one-shot Cloverline's phase 2. So we don't want auto swallow on at all, and that was a very good case of that happening. And so on to the longest cutscene of the game. There's just going to be a lot of buildings that are going to be unlocking from here. So if there's any more shoutouts or donations, feel free to shoot them out.
All right, thank you so much. We still do not have any new donations, but for everyone joining in chat, this is Green Gaming Festival of 2022, benefiting Mother of Corals. We are trying to make the Earth a better place because we only have one Earth currently. Or, yeah. I mean, yeah, currently we only have one Earth. So, yeah, this will be benefiting our oceans, and it's an amazing cause because it's for our planet, and we can focus on keeping our Earth clean and healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta save the corals. And look at there, Meta Knight. So we've unlocked the Colosseum. So with the Colosseum, we are never gonna go in there, but if you do go in there, there's a fun surprise with fighting against Meta Knight in there. It's a great Colosseum to go into, but it's not necessary for the run whatsoever. Alright, and one of my favorite levels once again. So this is going to be Northeast Frost Street, and this is an ice level, Ice World. I love the music in this game, and this world specifically. I just have a preference for ice music, honestly. I just love how it sounds. Okay. And so we're just going to be grabbing some of these animal sand sculptures. So we're actually going to be getting into the point where we're going to be seeing a lot of Waddle Dees that feel very out of the way. So let's see here. This is a pretty cycle-based level. Hopefully I don't mess up that. Okay, looks good so far. And I want to grab this animal sand sculpture right over here. Okay, looks good. Oh, uh-oh. Messed up that jump right there. That should be fine, though. I'll just barely make this cycle here. So that's the hidden block Waddle Dee. Kind of out of the way, but that's one of the fastest Waddle Dees that we can grab. Ooh, there you go. Managed to make that cycle before it was too late. And here we have the staircase mouthful mode, but we are not going to be opening it just because we can just use the power of Tornado to maintain our vertical height and just grab the ladders without using it. Okay, and one more animal sand sculpture, snow sculpture right here over here. And we'll be grabbing another out-of-the-way Waddle Dee, but this is actually very convenient to do right here as well. And just a great case of Tornado having so much vertical height. So you're intended to actually go to the goal first and go through this little gap right there, but otherwise, with Tornado, you can just completely skip that whole entire ordeal. Okay, and here we're going to go into 4-2. So 4-2, I am actually going to go back and talk about how that backpack of abilities works. So I've been grabbing a few abilities throughout this run. So far it's been Fire, Tornado, Drill, and Hammer. I think there's one more ability that I'm missing. Ice. Yeah, so Ice as well. And so what happens is that when you have these abilities in your run, once you have them activated, they'll be part of your backpack. And so we're actually going to be grabbing one more ability in this next arena. So it may seem kind of weird that I'm just grabbing it and then leaving it, but the whole entire reason is to set up for one of my favorite skips of the run, which is going to be at the end of this world. Okay, and so activate that stand on top of the train Waddle Dee, and we are going into this fight. So we're gonna go back and just do copy this for a hot second here. Okay, and there you go. We got Hammer, and so I need Hammer very importantly just because we're gonna be doing a very fun janky glitch that we'll be seeing in the next 2 stages. Okay. And because of this particular routing of skipping, we're actually going to be grabbing like significantly more Waddle Dees in this level as well as 4-3. We're going to be seeing a lot of Waddle Dees here. Just because once we get into 4-4, we're not going to be grabbing any more abilities. Or grabbing any more Waddle Dees, sorry. Okay, and with those 2 slide hops, that should will set me up to get into this cycle right here. I did not make it, that's very tragic, but that's okay. And right here, a great case of Tornado Kirby just being absolutely amazing. So with this particular Waddle Dee, it was intended to actually grab Cone Bee and get into that water spout that you just saw in the background. And just go up with Cone Bee and grab these 2 Waddle Dees. But with Tornado, you're able to just find a spot that has a decent amount of height, and you can just grab Waddle Dee just like that. Nice and easy. Okay. Let's let's see here. And so 4-3. This one has a cute little amount of tornado tech that you can do. The first one is going to be entering into one of the secret caves, which is intended for you to use Needle, just because Needle apparently can cancel the wind power. So if you see in this level, there's a lot of wind that's just blowing Kirby back and forth. But with Needle, they're just able to completely ignore the wind currents. But just with the proper positioning, Tornado can also fight against the current and get inside that doorway right here. Yep, looks like I got it, which is very good. All right. And so we will be grabbing Ring B over here. And let me see if I can grab the clip. Let's see if I can do it. I wasn't able to get the clip. So usually you're able to get the clip by being able to jump up and it'll just clip Kirby up to the top area. It didn't work out as intended, but otherwise it's not a big deal. And then just grabbing that one little rotisserie chicken, enjoying a meal at sea, just so we can have that for the objectives later. And it will save us probably just like a few seconds. And then these are going to be some pretty on-the-way Waddle Dees over here. And as you've noticed, if you grab a Cage Waddle Dee, they actually have like a 4 or 5 second animation of you picking it up. So unless it's in the way, on the way, it's usually not worth it to grab Cage Waddle Dees in your routing, just because you end up losing a lot of time for going for them. So that's why we always want to go for Objective Waddle Dees, just because Objective Waddle Dees never waste time, aside from the fact you're going out of your way to do the objective. And we are coming up to my favorite skip. Hopefully I can pull it off. I will be needing 23 Waddle Dees, so I should be at 20 Waddle Dees right now. Okay, so 20 Waddle Dees, hopefully. Should be 20. Yep, there you go, 20. All right, so Battle Bridge. I'll go ahead and explain everything once I do this trick. This trick is a little bit hard to pull off, but we'll get to see it. That didn't feel right, so I'm actually gonna drop the Tornado. Hopefully I didn't lose Hammer. That would have been very tragic if I did. Oh, okay. If the Tornado doesn't fall down, that's fine. Yeah, I didn't do it right. That's very tragic. But if you've noticed, I did a lot of jank to get that ability. But let's see. Okay. Still not bad. I'm gonna lose a decent amount of time in comparison to regular runs, but hopefully I should be able to just pull off my backup strat here. Okay. Okay. I'm pretty sure I got it. Oh my goodness, that is so tragic. Okay, okay, okay. It's fine, it's fine. We have to do it. We have to do it. Okay, and there we go. Yes, okay. Woo. All right, so a lot of things just happened there. So the first thing is I talked about the mixing. So with mixing, you're able to you're able to get all the abilities that you have previously taken into your pool and mix them. And so with a certain pattern, I'm able to mix for hammer. And because of that, we're able to grab hammer in a level that doesn't have hammer at the very beginning, just because we're able to have that set up for the mix. And then in combination with that, we also have the hammer super jump. So the hammer super jump, there's just a weird mechanic that once Kirby becomes exhausted from all of the floating, if you do a hammer bounce and jump at the perfect frame from the bounce, you're able to just get an insane amount of vertical height. And because of that, you're able to do the 4-4 bridge skip. So that whole entire level is intended to be a boss gauntlet of all the mini bosses that you fought so far. But because of that skip, should be able to skip all the bosses. Unfortunately, I had to fight Wild Edge because of my blunder, but still was able to show off the whole entire mechanic of that skip. All right, and here we are going into the King DDD fight. So I'm going to be doing another difficult strat. Typically, you would just pick up Volcano Fire here and just fight King DDD as such, but I'm going to be doing one of the harder strats. Hopefully it goes well. That's awkward, but it should be fine. Okay, that looks like a good fight. Oh, no, that's not a good fight anymore. I just accidentally broke hammer. Oh no. Now I have to watch this cutscene. Oh, yeah, so I actually managed to do a perfect first phase right there, but the second phase, I was intended to use hammer and juggle tornado, and King DDD would have been dead after his first swing, but we'll just have to make do with what we got. Okay. Most important thing is keeping tornado, which is what I cared about. Better than my Tropic Woods fight. So here we are grabbing our last set of Waddle Dees for this world. And so since I was talking about how you usually do Volcano Fire to fight this boss, most people prefer doing Volcano Fire in World 5, but as my preference and for a few other runners, there's also some Tornado gamers as well. And oh no, King DDD! He took Elflin from us! Now we won't have Elflin tell us to pick up a blueprint from bosses now. It's such a sad life. And because he got stolen, we have to save him. So we're actually not going to go back to Waddle Dee Town, and we're going to try and get to Elflin as soon as possible. Great name for the title of this level, the waste where life began. It's a very, very epic name. Okay. All right, and so we just saved we just killed a Lost Squishy, which is very mean of us. And not only that, the Lost Squishy was also next to 2 takoyaki servings. So for anyone who doesn't know what takoyaki is, it is a squid-based or even octopus-based dish that is popular in Japan. And it's very sad that it's probably his 2 friends that died and became delicious food. So Kirby doing the honor of eating his friends, as Kirby would. And other than that, not a bad level. Very fast. I actually skipped an intended Waddle Dee there that you usually grab in most runs. I'm actually going to be going for a different Waddle Dee at the end of this world to compensate for my lack of one Waddle Dee. but it is technically faster if I do it properly. Okay. His friends became Takoyaki. Yeah, it is a children's game, but funnily enough, despite the fact that this is a children's game, it is also, I believe, rated E10 plus for a random fear factor rating in this game. So, we'll probably see a boss towards the end of this level, end of this game, that will be the reason why there's a fear factor rating in this game. And we're coming up to one of the most broken abilities in the game. Sleep! Look at that! We took a nap near the secret pool. And so, for some reason, our enemies are like, hey, Kirby took a nap at the pool, and he deserves a Waddle Dee. So, good for Kirby. Good for Kirby. Okay, this is going to be a little bit awkward, but just because of that little bonk, my cycles are a little bit off. Yep, that's going to be one of them. And there you go. That is going to be one of our other Waddle Dees that I'll be grabbing. And I'm going to be doing a swag strat. This is not a time save whatsoever, but it does look cool. So hopefully I can pull it off. No. Okay, well, we'll try one more time. It's fine. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. Okay. Yeah, that should be it. Yep, there you go. Definitely slower than just going around normally, but that little bonk gives them just barely enough height for Kirby to skip into that next area. And then we just maintain Tornado and able to skip the button switch, which is intended for you to get Drill Kirby and go through that little fence that you see right there. But with the little power of the Tornado, we're able to just skip it, which actually saves a lot of time in comparison to doing the original strat. And not only this, these Waddle Dees look slow to grabbing one of my favorite abilities, but it is the fastest ability Waddle Dees that we have to grab in this run. Okay. Alright, nice. Oh, that was not nice. And we're on 5-2, right? Yeah, so now we're getting to 5-3. Another case of most people preferring fire, just because with Tornado, the moment you bonk, you lose a pretty good amount of time in comparison to fire. Just because once you bonk into a wall as Tornado, you basically lose a little bit of control of your momentum. And because of that, it's a lot easier to do this level in particular with fire. So honestly, if you're ever starting off, please do Volcano Fire in World 5. It's like a lot easier. You're probably not even saving that much time in comparison to Tornado anyways, just because Tornado is like barely better than Fire. But since this game is still relatively new, there's still not a 100% confirmation that Tornado is better in World 5. So it's all honestly preference. Okay. Oh yeah, and for some reason, this is a live mall too. This is apparently the staff side, so whatever that means, I guess the staff side was able to just be on the completely different island. I don't know how that works, but At least we get to listen to the Lilo Mall again. Okay. No, run away. Okay. And I just realized I haven't done this. So we've been grabbing ice cream in this level. So as a fun little question for everyone, what is your favorite ice cream? My personal preference, chocolate chip, maybe cookie dough, cookies and cream, Rocky Road. There's so many different ice creams I love. Cookies and cream? Yep, yep. Ooh, pistachio. I love pistachio, actually. I haven't had pistachio ice cream in a long time. But whenever I go to a gelato place, pistachio ice cream is definitely good. Chunky ice cream? Yeah, that's why I like cookie dough. Just because you're able to just stuff a piece of dough in your mouth. Or as I like to pronounce it, cookie dog. Okay, and grabbing a wanted poster right there. So with wanted posters, there's going to be a few of them here. We're going to be grabbing all 3 of them. And actually at the end of this level, we'll be going to the boss fight that is the artist for all of the wanted posters that we have seen throughout the levels. Oh no. Okay. Alright, and so right here, this is going to be the difficult Waddle Dee that I'm going to be going for. This is a minor optimization. Hopefully I get it. It doesn't look like I got it. That's okay. We'll just have to go for the slow strat, which is doing the light bulb of shame. Okay, there we go. Still not bad. Could have been better, but that's fine. Right, and actually going to be grabbing the light bulb D for this. And this is one of my favorite movements right here, doing a little bit of some optimal bonking, so that we can bonk right into another Waddle Dee. And banger alert! This is one of my favorite songs. Alright, and then we're going to be re-grabbing a fire over here. There we go. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a fun strat here, just because we still have time. Hopefully I can pull it off. This... Okay, we'll try one more time. That's fine. We'll see. I would love to be able to show this off right here. Okay, third time's a charm. If it doesn't work out, we'll just have to give up on it. Okay, there you go. Yes. So we are technically out of bounds now. And so as you can see, we are above these rocks. I'm just going to do some little bouncings here and there. And basically we are above the intended route. As you can see below us, you can see all of the obstacles. There's nothing intended for us to be here. We're supposed to go in the underpass, but we're just gonna keep flying up. And there's nothing much to see after this point, so we're just gonna go back down now. Whee, there you go. And And now that we're back here, I'm just gonna do some bouncing there and there. And that is gonna be our second to last Waddle Dee. So yeah, one of my favorite tricks. Definitely does not save time whatsoever. It does look cool though, just because you get to do some out of bounds shenanigans. But otherwise, we are towards the end of the level, and we are going to be grabbing our last Waddle Dee, which is honestly very mean. This level itself takes about like 15-20 minutes casually, honestly. And if you do not find those cactus triplets, you will have to redo the level and grab them. All right, and there we go, 25 Waddle Dees. We are now going to meet the artist of all the wanted posters we've seen so far, and another member of the Beast Pack. All right, there you go. And so this is going to be our first volcano fire fight, at least in my personal route. And so if we had regular fire, this would honestly be a very tragic fight to do, just because it does absolutely no damage if you have regular fire. But we'll have a pretty good showcase of a pretty fast fight with volcano fire. So that's the first phase, our boy Silly Dillo. As you can see, he's very silly. And he is the artist of our wanted posters. Oh, that is not good. That's going to be a little bit of a time loss there. Usually a guard there. Just because with Volcano Fire, you actually gain more damage the more you keep burning them. As you can see, there's like a little bit of a fire tick on him right now. Whenever you lose your ability, that fire tick disappears. So kind of sucks right there, but that's fine. We'll be okay. And just a little bit of a setup right here, just because Silly Dillo's line of attack is directly at Kirby. So if you line up just perfectly on him, you can see that he's just bouncing up and down. If you were to do the intended way, or just play around how you usually do, he would be bouncing around like diagonally, vertically, horizontally, just like it's not a good time. And so just being able to do that, he just lines up perfectly for you to just hit him for a majority of the spin cycle. And it's actually very annoying with that spin cycle, because his little friend that he made, you actually lose chances to hit him, because his friend is able to block a lot of your attacks. And there you go. World 5 is done. So we are going to be getting into our second to last downtime, I would say. So any shout outs for Coral, Mother of Corals? You should go for it.
All right, let me check. It seems that we still do not have any more donations, but if any of you would currently in chat would love to donate, anything helps in any way. We are benefiting Mother of Corals, which is for the oceans of the Earth, and it's an amazing cause to keep our life greener and healthier.
Alright, 5-1. I'm gonna just go for a quick swag strat here. Hopefully I can pull it off. Okay, come on. Yep, there you go. So unintended path right there. And also I was able to skip the vertical height by doing that one fire attack. And so as you can see right there, just a little bit of a swag strat to line up perfectly to hit that Woofy. And usually that is, I want to say, a 2-second loss for going for that, so don't go for it. And let me see if I can even get on top of this rock. This rock doesn't like me that much. There you go. Should be good now. And this is going to be a pretty tight cycle right here. I'm going to try and go for this Omega fast cycle. If not, then that's so it's fine. It'll be okay. Okay, I didn't get the fast cycle. That's fine. We'll just go for the safety bone strat. There you go. Oh. That was very weird. I don't know what happened there. Ah. Yeah. A little bit of an annoying part right there. Usually I'm able to get that, but we should be fine. This is honestly one of my least favorite levels to traverse, just because anytime I'm forced to float as Kirby, it just feels very slow, and I would like to avoid it as much as possible, but otherwise, like, not bad. But we're still good on time. Okay, so into World 6-2. This is going to be another cycle-based room. I honestly want to say it's probably one of the hardest rooms to start off when you're speedrunning this game, just because once you mess up the cycles, you will be behind a few shots, and you just have to wait. You can also dodge through things, but since dodging has a slowdown whenever you go dodge through an attack, it's actually relatively slow. And so hopefully I'm able to just grit everything here. Oh, that is very tragic. So yeah, I'm gonna have to miss a cycle here. And then I'm just gonna dodge roll here, just because that actually slows down the cycles a little bit, which helps out. And we're gonna go for a little bit of a weird strat here. So I'm gonna grab Crash. And so the reason why we grab Crash here is it's an objective wall D. It also beats up this boss very fast. But unfortunately we lose Volcano Fire for that. But with that little vertical inhale glitch we can do, we can just grab Volcano Fire once again. And grab our last Woofy meat. There you go. Okay, and then here's an instance of Volcano Fire having way too big of a hitbox. So right there, if I actually used Volcano Fire there and its dash, I actually would have hit those Gordos despite the fact that I was right above them. Just because the sheer humongous hitbox of Volcano Fire is just not in your favor. Okay, and then we're gonna go for another swag strat here. This loses about like 2 seconds, but otherwise it's not a big deal. But right here, a cool lava expanse, and we are just going to keep floating up and do Volcano Fire. There you go. Look at that. Beautiful. Yeah, it's really cool to do that strat just because you just get to see the whole entire lava pool above you. If you do drop down and go the intended path, there's a volcano, there's a boat that's apparently volcano resistant, and you use Ring B to traverse through the volcano. And I mean, it's still cool because you're on volcano, but I personally like that strat more just because it looks a lot more theatric. Okay, and then on to 6-3. So another cycle-based level. We can see a little pattern here. World 6 is just a lot more difficult, a lot more punishing if you mess up your cycles. And other than that, at least with the first room, it's not bad. And there will actually be a showcase of Volcano Fire's hitbox being massive. So we're just gonna wait here. Can't really skip that cycle. Okay, and so we're gonna jump up here. And so usually there's supposed to be a button that you're supposed to press, and then these presses actually open up. But since Volcano Fire's hitbox is like just massive for some reason, there's actually some wooden boxes that actually trigger the opening of the Waddle Dee's cage, and so we can just go above the crusher and just activate the boxes with Volcano's Fire Dash. Oh no, that is not good. Okay, I think for safety I need to go back and grab some safety Waddle Dees here. That's actually really bad for me. Just because once I get into 6-3, I need to grab a certain amount of Waddle Dees. And if I don't have a certain amount of Waddle Dees, the last stretch of the run is going to be significantly slower. So I'm just grabbing this for safety. Usually I never get crushed there, but, well, that happens. It happens. It can't be a marathon without mistakes, right? Okay, but some cool movement right there, and we're gonna get into a pseudo auto-scroller here. So there's an invisible wall that stops you from moving significantly forward. So if I just go here, if you are actually able to get to the farthest part and go through this wall, it actually triggers the end of the auto-scroller. And so just like that, we're able to slightly skip the intended auto-scroller. Okay. And so, just because we finished 6-3, hopefully I have enough Waddle Dees to get back into town. And we're just gonna have to go through the shame of don't get squished, objective Waddle Dee being right in front of my face. Okay, and we are actually gonna go back into town. And I want to say this is probably going to be the second chance to do donations, so feel free to just keep shouting it out.
All right. Yeah. Still no new donations coming in yet, and so the Mother of Corals is a great cause for our oceans. It's a great cause to keep our Earth healthy. And it's just an amazing service that definitely deserves some donations. So if anyone is currently watching the stream and has a few dollars to spare, anything helps in any way, and it's just an amazing cause to support.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, and so right here, this is weird. So I'm going back to town instead of immediately going to 6-4. And I'm doing this very long process of grabbing these boosts that apparently save time. It actually does save time. It takes about, I want to say a 1 minute save overall in comparison to just not using speed boosts and power boosts. And the reason why we do this is because 6-4 is a massive boss rush of all the beast packs that you have fought so far, and so we want to be able to kill them really fast. Otherwise, you actually lose a decent amount of time for not having boosts. And not only that, the speed boost helps us carry through 6-4 and 6-5, which is basically a massive amount of movement. But anyways, into 6-4, we are going to be doing our boss gauntlet slash half of the mouthful mode gauntlet as well. So we'll be seeing a decent amount of mouthful modes here. Okay. Okay, so we're going to be getting Crash here. We ventured into a secret deep passage, which is a nice little objective Wallaby to grab for free. And now we're going to be getting into Gorimondu. So because this is a boss gauntlet, these bosses also have reduced HP. And so in conjunction with Crash and Power Boost, we get to see Gorimondu for like 1 second. Alright, and then Kirby section. So this is great. So with the speed boost, you're actually able to maintain the speed boost while in Kirby, which is honestly amazing. So you get to go significantly faster in comparison to what you would usually be, and we can do this cool little skip right here. There you go. That is going to be our next Waddle Dee. And with Kirby and the Forgotten Land, we've seen Drill once from this run, and it's actually one of the new abilities that has come from this game. Unfortunately, I didn't really like this ability, but we'll have a great case of this ability being honestly amazing. So hopefully I can pull this off. Okay, it looks like it wasn't what I wanted, but that is okay. I am trying to hit him, but his friend is protecting him. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get it, but with Drill, if you do it properly, you can actually one-shot Silly Dill here, which saves you a fair amount of time in comparison to keeping Volcano Fire. But because of that, I basically just lost both fire and not killing the boss fast enough. But not too bad of a time loss either way. We are going to be grabbing our first Pipe B section. And pretty simple stuff, just jumping whenever needed to, and we'll be grabbing a pretty free Waddle Dee right over here as well. Okay. Yeah, and you will be significantly getting most of the Waddle Dees here. I'm actually going to be grabbing an extra Waddle Dee once again, because there's been many times where I've messed up the end of this run, and so I'm just gonna be grabbing a safety Waddle Dee as well. Oh, uh-oh. Well, this is very tragic. Okay, that's fine. Usually I can be able to just one-shot if I were to hit that double star, but I wasn't able to get it. But most important thing is becoming a damage this fight, which is beat power line without getting hit. Very important. And then Roller Coaster D. And I guess fun fact, I blindfold this category, so technically I can do this blindfolded, so I can probably just start right now if I wanted to. It'd be like whoa, what happened? Did we make it? Oh wow, we did. Nice. Alright, there you go. So this is going to be the safety Waddle Dee. I actually didn't need to grab this Roller Coaster D at all, but fortunately, we're able to just skip it. Not skip it. Fortunately or unfortunately for me, hopefully I don't mess up the last Waddle Dee, just because if I do mess it up, it's gonna be like a 2-minute time loss for it to happen. So I'd rather go for safety than lose 2 minutes. Okay, and on to 6-5. So this is gonna be the last level before we fight the boss. So with this boss with this level in particular, it's basically a mouthful mode gauntlet with the ones we haven't seen so far in the Beast Council fights. So we want to skip a lot of the mouthful mode areas, specifically the balloon mouth and the boat Kirby ring beak section, just because those are 2 separate rooms and they take a pretty good amount of time to do if you don't skip them. But fortunately, we've seen Hammer super jump before, and we are going to skip those again. We're going to be using Hammer quite a bit in this last stretch of the game. Okay, and quick little fight right there to grab an objective Waddle Dee for the first area beasts. Okay. Oh. I am very lucky right now. Usually your ability drops. It's like a 50% chance, and I've just got myself lucky right there. And we're just gonna jump here, and so this is gonna be the first skip. So you're intended to go into this room, but with Hammer super jump shenanigans, we're able to just skip it completely. Because fortunately the devs decided to completely load the whole entire room, so we're able to just skip that room entirely. So that was the balloon mouth Kirby, which is just a whole entire section of just pure puzzles, which is very time consuming, so we don't want to do that. And then this is one of the more difficult strats. I would not recommend it for first timers, but hopefully I can get it. I did not get it, but this still will save a significant amount of time if I'm able to do it, like even 3rd try or even 5th try, comparison to just going into that room with the locker mouth. Wow. Okay, and so that's going to be the first one. So we're going to be doing some out of bounds shenanigans right here. Okay, so there we go. And so for some reason right there, you're able to reset Kirby's floating exhaustion. And so doing some out of bounds shenanigans, we're able to get into the Archmouth area. And there you go. Okay. And my ADHD brain just keeps pressing A, but you don't need to do the spin attack. It does not make you any faster unless you're bonking off the ground. I just do it just because it is an auto scroller and it kills my time in my mental brain. Okay. And so at the end of this level, after the end of this Archmouth section, we're going to be doing a Conby section. And so this is basically one of the potential run killers that usually doesn't happen, but likes to happen in marathons for some reason. Which is doing the Conby section by not falling into the lava. So if at any point that you fall into the lava with Conby, you immediately lose a Waddle Dee, which if you are doing a perfect run, you will lose a Waddle Dee and have to basically reset the run. Okay, and so we're just gonna go right here. Oh, okay, almost fell down. So yeah, this is the Conby section. Sometimes the Tordilding, if you're not fast enough in a certain cycle, you actually might have him do his pentuple shot, which might hit you, like right there. There you go. Okay, so it looks like I have been pretty lucky. So it looks like I didn't need the safety Waddle Dee, but otherwise was able to do a pretty clean Waddle Dee spot right there. It's usually a little bit scary to go for the fast strat there. So sometimes you're able to just wait on the falling platform there and go for it, but if you go almost immediately, you can actually hit the Tordilding without having to wait, which saves some time, but typically it's not worth it if you're at the end of your run and you are scared of dealing with the nerves. But otherwise, I mean, not a big deal. We have all the Waddle Dees we needed, and we are gonna go for another hopefully good boss fight. Otherwise, this might be a little messy. Hopefully I can get my redemption from the Silly Dillo fight, from the Beast Council fight area, and am able to show off how amazing Drill Kirby is. Okay. And so safety, some people can mix in the last level and go Volcano Fire. You can also go Crash. You can also use Ice. There's some variations on how you want to do this boss fight, but so far, Drill DDD is the fastest fight overall, but looks like I forgot to turn on my attack boost, so this is not going to go well. As you can see, I almost got the perfect fight, but did not work out. That's fine. We'll just have to go for the backup strat here. Okay, so that's the backup strat. Was able to position him in the spot that I wanted him to, which is good. Then just go here, and there we go. That is the perfect phase 2. And I guess just to describe a little bit more on how drill works is that the larger your oval becomes, the more ruptures that come out. And so ideally you want to make the perfect oval that can create 3 ruptures, which is enough to almost one-shot Drill DDD, or King DDD right there. But now we're on to another run-killing strat, but can easily save you like a minute and a half in comparison to just fighting Liengar, which is the next boss we're fighting normally. So we're going to be doing another skip with hammer super jumping. Going to be called the hammer super jump, and this will easily make me lose time, but hopefully I can pull it off. All right, moment of truth. That doesn't look right, yeah. So, messed up first try, now it's gonna be even harder to do this because Liengar's environment is relatively laggy, which makes it very difficult to do these tricks. But hopefully... Yeah, looks like I didn't get the proper height there. That's very tragic. Okay, we'll keep trying. Yeah, and because Liengar is breathing down my neck, it's very hard for me to even get the super jump, because if I ever hit him at any point, I basically lose like everything. But looks like I almost got it. Yeah, so there's an extra out of bounds wall that is pretty high to hit, but we just gotta keep trying. Just gotta keep trying. Yep. Come on, Liengar, be nice to me, buddy. Yeah, this is pretty painful so far. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. Yeah, that's good. All right, this is the slow variation, so we're gonna be seeing a little bit of some floating here for a little bit, but I was able to get out of bounds, which is all that matters. Okay. Yep, just floating along, and should be good now. Hi, Leongar. How's your day today? All right, and here's the reason why this game is rated E10+. Say hello to Fecto Forgo. You know, everyone loves a good Kirby game with a disgusting monster that is just oozing with like a bunch of random animals inside them, right? Everyone loves that. Family-friendly game. Okay, bye-bye. Alright, and so unfortunately, since I messed up the Leongar skip, we have to do this fight without a power boost, which technically is significantly faster if I had it, and it would allow me to skip a healing phase of the fight as well, but we just gotta make do with what we got. And so now we are going against Fecto Elfless, which is gonna be the evil version of Elfilin. And so Elfless is basically the evil side, and so together, when they're put together, they become Omega Strong. And so, let's see. We are going to be trying to save Elfilin from this atrocity of an enemy that is able to warp dimensions and throw rocks at us. Okay, looks like I got a good pattern despite the fact that I did not have an attack boost here, so this should go send me into second phase pretty painlessly. Yep, there you go. And so second phase, we are going to be going against his little phase transition, which honestly is just him throwing a bunch of rocks at us. And guess what? Apparently, ice beats rock. I learned that from Pokemon. But apparently rock does not beat ice. Okay, so let's see if I can get the pattern here. Oh wait, I actually might be able to do the heal skips though. Oh, I messed up the shielding just a little bit. I could have gotten the heal skip. But looks like we are gonna deal with the cones. So fun fact, if you ever do fight this boss, you just look for the shadow and that is the real Elfless. And now we are nearing the end of the game. We just have to save Elfilin one more time. And I'll just do a quick little button mash here. Oh, looks like that was a slow one, but that's fine. And now we are going to do our last mouthful mode. Big Rig Kirby, Truck B. And somehow he can fit in it. Boom. Alright, let's go. And we probably have like another 30 or 45 seconds, but this is the end of the run. I'll call time whenever that comes. And I'm just gonna do a cute little strat here. So we're gonna jump off this bridge just a little bit earlier than intended. There you go. Apparently the devs didn't realize that people would dodge left of the rock and go immediately right, so they actually didn't put in an invisible wall there for us. And now we are nearing towards the end. We're just gonna do a little funny of falling off. So here, I'm just going to be driving off the edge just a little bit so I can avoid colliding with these rocks. And I fell off way too early. That is embarrassing. I literally just messed up an auto-scrolling section. That is very sad. But anyways, we'll do the funny one more time. I'm just going to fall off. Whee! Okay, and then we're going to have 4 more button mashing sequences here. And then right when Truck B goes through Facto Elphalus, that's when I'll call time. So this is going to be the first button mash right here. Okay, and then this one is just a really easy time event of pressing A. Alright. Let's go, Kirby. You got this. Defeat the evil. Alright, time is coming up very soon. Okay, and it'll be right when Kirby goes through Elphalus. Hold on to it. And time. And that is Kirby in the Forgotten Land, any percent. Hope y'all had a good time watching Kirby traverse a bunch of worlds and beat up a big demon god.
If you would like to know your time, you were 1 second away from your estimated time of 150. You were at 149.59.
Wow, that's kind of bad, honestly. Usually it's like 145, but you know, we'll take it. We made it under estimate. Let's go. Always have that. We did have a lot of mistakes there here and there, but we made it, and I'm glad to show off Kirby. Honestly, it was a good time.
If you have any dedications or any dedications, you can go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. So shout outs to the Kirby community. I really got into it. Honestly, like Dark Rylu 27 inside the chat right now, they really spearheaded a lot of the tornado routes. So if you love tornado, definitely check him out and his routes. Otherwise, you can always follow our top Japanese runner Polka, and they have great fire movement as well. And other than that, I am a blindfolded Kirby any percent Forgotten Land runner as well. So if you do want to check me out whenever I practice or do full runs, definitely give me a follow at twitch.tv/BombHappy, and then sometimes I'm on Twitter. That's @_BombHappy as well.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, BombHappy, for running Kirby for us today. And up next we have Iron and Spider C running Pokemon Shield. Stay tuned for that.